sure if you had a list of things that the Pope is allowed to declare unilaterally because he's the Pope, it's probably a pretty extensive list. And having read all of the Gospels, I don't think there's anything in there saying this was Jesus' intention, was that every successor to Peter would be able to do X, Y, and Z. So at that point, you get into a lot of hair splitting of, okay, how much power does the Pope have to determine the nature of reality, how reality goes? This is okay because as God's delegated authority on earth over all of the Catholics on the planet, I can say that this is going to be this way, and consequently this is this way. It's like, I think that's one of the things that we're seeing with the, with the sex scandal in the Catholic Church, is that's really what they tried to do, was to say, we will arbitrate this by saying we're coming down on the side of the priest because we're always going to take the side of the Catholic priest against anyone else. And it's like, well, you can do that up to a point, and you can do that in a specific kind of society. But as society begins to evolve, and we have the communications that we have, and we have courts that are no longer intimidated by either the Vatican or by the Pope or by Christianity or by Jesus or by God to let them get away with stuff like this. So, yeah, I think that my answer to Jeff would be, okay, but you can't allow yourself to be manipulated. If you're the Pope and you have a pretty good idea that the Pope isn't supposed to be having sex with anybody, and you're having sex with somebody, or you're arranging things in such a way so that you can have sex with somebody, you still are going to know that that's wrong, or you should know that that was wrong. Consequently, it wasn't a matter of Cerebus being manipulated into doing something that he was wrong. It was a matter of Cerebus choosing to do something wrong.
Well, that's in there. Eddie showed up and posted a link to a old Amok post where it was your answers to Rob Ames' like 30 pages of internet stuff that he sent you. And you pretty much said, I read it, and here's my comments. And there was the Alan Moore getting heat for the Killing Joke. And in your response, you brought up Cerebus and Astoria. And so I quoted that of, okay, this is Dave saying, over the years, yes, it was a rape. And, and Jeff's still going, well, but he was being manipulated. I'm like, no, it was a pretty straightforward, he could have just said, no, because back in High Society when she was coming on to him, he said, and, then the Moon Roach shows up, and he's, as the Moon Roach is leaving, he's going, yeah, give us half an hour and I'll throw some money at your orphans. And after the Roach leaves, the story is like, that was cruel, and it's, well, yeah, but I'm just messing with him.
Right. And it was also a matter of that pushed Cerebus over in that direction was seeing the effect that Astoria had on the Roach, where it's like, okay, to whatever extent that I might want to have sex with her, if this is what it leads to, somebody who's already crazy going even crazier because he starts thinking that there's something there besides Astoria making use of somebody. I mean, you have to look at Astoria's track record of, she started with Lord Julius and just sort of went from there, finding, okay, who do I think can draw the straight line from point A to point B. This is what I want women to have the right to vote, and that for Astoria, that superseded everything else. Her own personal morality. If seducing this leader or engaging the Roach or whatever else, or being with Lord Julius would bring that closer to reality, then the end justified the means. And the end justifying the means is a slippery slope for anybody. That's why I said it's the same thing as the Muslim women in Muslim countries who are really enduring terrible, terrible hardship in pursuit of wanting to get the vote and wanting women to be independent in the same way that North American feminists are independent. I can understand wanting that, and I can certainly understand martyrdom, where you say, okay, whatever you're going to do to me, you'll just have to do to me, and if I die or I'm maimed or I'm crippled or whatever, that'll just show what the stakes are, and more women will come after me, and eventually we'll get what it is that we're looking for here. And it's like, I think the problem that I see with that is that I don't see feminism as making women happy. I think women are, they want to be married, they want to be in lifelong happy marriages, they want to have kids, they want their kids to have kids, they want their kids to have kids to have kids, and stick around as long as they possibly can, and enjoy that, immerse themselves in it. I don't think moving over from that to political power is a mostly or fundamentally a female sensibility. I think it's women who are inclined that way, the Astorias of the world, are dragging women over there and saying, you have to want this and you have to choose this. I don't think it's the work-life balance thing. It's a work-family balance. And what you end up with, half-assed work and half-assed family. Instead of, if you devote yourself wholly to your family, which is what women did for centuries, you get full value out of that, and you produce family-oriented girls who grow up and want to be family people, not job people. So that's just an opinion, but that's one of those. I certainly can't fault anybody for deciding, no, this is what's needed, and I will sacrifice everything in my life that I would ordinarily